Hi, and welcome to Beer Grilled Skinny, where a mother-daughter team embraces the random, even when they want to snark at each other. I'm Lorianne, the daughter.
And I'm Justine, the mama.
We had a bit of a struggle today getting our microphone to work, and it made us both a little bit cranky. Now, if you've been following us, we recently did an episode about a trip we took to Mexico. And sadly, I realized I left out one of the best stories. One of the things we did while we were there was go snorkeling. And Kitty and Hannah and I went into this little hut to change into our swimsuits. While we were in there, now Kitty had kind of reddish hair.
Maybe.
As I recall, it was pretty dark, but it was kind of a reddish hue. And Hannah had very black hair. Mm-hmm. And I had very blonde hair. I do not know if the hair had anything to do with it. But we were changing, and they were on one side of the hut, and I was on the other side because I was very modest. I was only 14. Honestly, maybe I was just on the correct side of the hut. All I know is that as I was putting on my swimsuit, the two of them started brushing their hair, and then they started screaming, and then both of them ran out, boobs flying, because bugs were attacking them. We don't know what kind of bugs. It was like some sort of a black fly. Anyone that has been to Cancun and is familiar with this type of bug, perhaps you could comment and let us know what happened. But they didn't attack me at all. So I finished putting my swimsuit on, and I walk out, and Neil is watching his mom with her boobs flying and her hair, she's like just freaking out. And is he trying to help her? No. He's like, put your swimsuit on. He was just so horrified that he was seeing her boobs. I mean, I think I'd be a little bit more empathetic and say, oh my God, something's attacking you. What can I do? But I don't know.
Yeah.
She traumatized him a couple of times. Possibly. I don't even think he wanted to be there to begin with. But the snorkeling was amazing. I saw some of the most beautiful fish in my entire life. Something Mom had to miss out on because she hates swimming. So she just hung out on the beach.
It's a fear, people. It's a water fear, okay?
Okay.
I've had it for a long, long time.
Right, since your dad decided the best way to teach you to swim was to just throw you in the water.
Oh, no, to threaten to put me down and put his foot on me because I wouldn't do what he told me to do.
Well, I can't imagine why that would cause a phobia.
Yeah.
And that made me think of bugs. I've had issues with insects and things that aren't really insects, like spiders over the course of my life. I have always been terrified of bees. So you're afraid of water and I'm afraid of bees. Even though I do not go into anaphylactic shock, I just don't like getting stung. When I was living in Australia, we were doing a renovation. And let me tell you guys, there are some spiders down there, and some of the good ones are still terrifying. They have this thing called a huntsman, and he's about the size of the average woman's palm, and they like to live behind pictures.
Ooh.
And I was told to keep it in the house because they would go after the bad spiders. We had so many spiders in there, and they all wanted to come after me. They knew I was afraid. There was one night where I had a wolf spider come after me. There's this other spider that's actually poisonous that was coming after me. Like every room I went into, there was a spider. There was one morning I got up and I started to put my jeans on and a wolf spider came flying out of the leg.
Mm.
One morning I was driving to work and a huntsman crawled up through the door. And when I started screaming, it would freeze.
God bless it.
Because I was on this road where there was no pulling off. You could not get off the road without going down into some sort of forest thing where you'd have to be towed. So I would drive along, and every time I started to move, I'd scream really loud, and it would freeze. And I did this all the way until I found the first place where I could safely get off the road. And then it didn't want to get out of the truck. I think I accidentally ended up driving over it.
Oh.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you some pictures of huntsmen, and we see it. You still say, aw. But this reminded me of this movie called The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser. And they had a bunch of scarabs in there that would just eat all the skin off of your body. The same thing happened in a movie that I watched, and I I'm sorry, y'all, I don't know the name of it, but it starred Jan Michael Vincent, and it's like really old for those of you who are in your 20s. It's really old. And there was this nuclear war, and of course the roaches survived, but they became really vicious. And so they had this scene where these roaches just totally ate this guy, except for his skeleton, within minutes.
That movie.
I don't know if I watched it with you. I think I found it on television one day. It's really old, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually a point to what I'm saying. Now, y'all remember that we embrace the random. So I'm using this to lead around to gods and goddesses. And oftentimes, bugs have been used by gods and goddesses in mythology to punish.
Well, here's an interesting thing I looked up, and there is a fly god, and there's a bee god.
Where? Who?
From
what religion?
Greece, out of Greece.
Greece has a bee god and a fly god?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with Egypt and go with the cat god.
Well, is Samaria...
Bast.
Is Samaria...
Bast will
Egypt?
take out the flies and the bees.
Yeah, she's a good cat. She certainly will.
What about Samaria?
Because that's another one that did the flies.
Well, so did God. Wasn't it locusts that he sent to Egypt?
Yeah. But I'm thinking about when you were in
It's just an interesting way to frame plagues that happen. Oh, you're thinking about our locust adventure?
No, the thing where you always had to wear this hat with a veil on it.
The flies. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They call this thing, when you're trying to get rid of the flies, they call it the Australian wave.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what happened to bring the fly plague, and there's a beetle, a dung beetle that they brought in, because the flies feed off of the dung of certain animals. And the beetle feeds off the flies. And I was only there 5 years. It was really bad when I was first there. Here's how bad it was. We went on a little trip with some friends of ours to Central Australia, the outback, and we got out to try to take a picture, and the flies were so bad, we just took a picture really fast, jumped back in the car, but then we saw other people pull up, and because we're not perfect, we waited until they got out and watched them, because what happens is you're standing there, and you have to brush one away, and then another one, and then it just gets worse and worse until you're like, oh my goodness, I have to run and jump into my car because this is awful. But that had gotten better by the time he and I moved over here. So the dung beetle is doing its job, eating the dung and leaving nothing for the flies to eat.
And that just seemed a little bit gross, but there you go.
I don't really see it as gross. I see it as a good cleanup process. It's kind of like vultures. A lot of people are like, ew, vultures. Vultures clean up all the dead animals.
Yeah.
They're pretty awesome.
Yeah. You're being influenced by your husband, but that's okay. He's a good man.
He's a good man and a true conservationist, which is what most hunters are. And that's why we appreciate animals that clean things up. You know, unlike people around here that like to just let their dogs poop and not pick it up.
Yeah.
I see complaints about that a lot.
Yeah. So, back to Mexico, they have a goddess of snakes, scorpions, and insects. So they've got like 100+ gods and goddesses.
That's one of the interesting things that I've seen about gods and goddesses. I mean, do they still worship them?
I haven't done as much of a deep dive as I would like to. But what I read is that there are certain people in Mexico who still worship some of the gods.
I mean, there's the Hindus.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that certain gods fell out of favor. So, for example, I don't think there's a lot of... Well, it's coming back. I have actually researched the Greek god thing, but that fell out of favor. I don't know if they got displaced by the Christian god, so you had the Greek gods, and then the Romans took the Greek gods and renamed them Roman names. And then the Christian god came along and said, no, there's only one god. Meanwhile, the Hindus off in India had no clue what was going on, and they have like thousands of gods and goddesses. I don't know how you would keep track.
I know. I don't either.
And the thing that's interesting to me, I believe most of the time, the whole idea of worshiping these gods and goddesses is... we feel very out of control of our lives.
That could very well be.
And we'd like someone to help.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to my dead ancestors sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like they help sometimes. But, you know, that could just be me projecting.
Yeah.
Everything worked out, so I'll give them credit kind of thing.
Well, they say the difference between folklore and myth is like tradition, beliefs, customs, stories of a culture. So sometimes folklore has got some truth invested in it, not invested, inserted in it. But now I'm just reading what people are saying.
I don't know who they are. Are you just reading AI?
Yes.
Okay. I took a world mythology class, and the first thing he said that really resonated with me was that one man's myth is another man's religion. Or maybe one man's religion is another man's myth.
Mm-hmm. There are so many of them out there. I also looked at...
But I like the ones that are like, hey, believe in what you want to believe in. I don't care for the ones that go, you're going to be punished eternally if you don't pick our religion.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Christianity, mind you.
I know.
I remember when you were working for Jewish people, and they said, you asked them something about, what are your thoughts on life after death? And they're like, well, we don't really think about it.
Yeah.
Which I kind of appreciate at this stage in my life.
Yeah, I do. At this stage of my life, moving on rapidly towards 81. But that's okay. We're all in different places. So, still, looking at this thing of myth and folklore, I wanted to see again what the path was of the growth of the Christian church. And initially, the Jews embraced it, embraced Jesus, everything they were telling. But when Paul decided to go out and convert Gentiles, the Jewish people had a huge problem with that, and so they backed off from that. So you see how these things get...
Someone has decided to inject herself into this. That would be one of my cats.
Yes. She's got something to say about this, because since you were calling on a cat goddess...
Yes, of course.
Of course, I know.
I don't know if I'm worshiping my cats or just slaves to them.
Yeah. So it's like, as time passed, stories developed, and some people were convinced that this is truth. And I run into a lot of people these days who really haven't investigated what their Bibles say. So
you mean they're holy books?
Yeah,
there
they're
is
holy books.
one Bible.
Okay, they're holy books.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, because I'm closer to the other side than you are.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Not that I want you to leave anytime soon, but the natural order of things is that you should go first.
Yes. Yes. And so looking at that, for a long time, now here's a big word. I hope I pronounce it. Eschatological fulfillment. You ever heard that, eschatological?
I've heard of eschatology.
No, this is eschatological. Okay, there's a T in there.
Huh. Eschatology. Like I said, that's the study of something. I can't remember anymore.
It's
I used to know what it meant.
Relating to death, judgment, and final destiny.
Okay.
So that, for us, is revelation. That's where we're supposed to grasp our knowledge about the other side. We, as
what do you
if
mean
we
for
follow
us?
the Christian faith.
What, how does Revelation fit in? You mean Revelations?
Yeah, the book in the New Testament.
I think you're mistaken.
I am not mistaken. I have given this
The whole entire New Testament gives you thoughts on what to expect after this life.
Oh, well,
Revelations is a fever dream.
maybe. That's where the number 666 comes from.
And
that's supposed to be the mark.
Uh-huh. Because if I was evil, I would look at Revelations and go, I'm going to stamp 666 on my forehead so you know I'm evil. It's just ridiculous. But I remember the people that there was a time in the 80s where everybody thought we were going to be stamped with those, I can't remember what they are, but when you're at the grocery store and
Yes.
you're ringing things up and it's
Yes.
a barcode, that's what
Yes.
it is. They thought we were all going to be
Yes.
stamped with the barcode. And then if you weren't willing to be stamped with the barcode, you would be sent to a concentration camp. Some people really get off on the idea of an apocalypse. I certainly did in my teen years. I really loved the movie The Terminator, and I was like, I'm going to be so ready. War games. I mean, the whole 80s was riddled with this fear of Armageddon, and I think it was due to the fact that these idiots came up with nuclear weapons and we thought they were all going to get used.
And at the same time, along comes AI. And today, we just sort of embrace AI, no matter the movie. I really like AI.
Okay.
It's a man's machine.
All right. There's a difference between AI and AGI that a lot of people don't understand.
Okay, tell me again.
AI is artificial intelligence, and it does chores for us. AGI is if it ever becomes self-aware. There are people claiming that they have a self-aware AGI because they've been seeing evidence of them trying to preserve themselves. But that could have easily been programmed into them, that you're supposed to try to preserve yourself and lie and do all these things because it learns everything from humans.
At the same time, you know how now Elon Musk has come up with this chip that you can put it in the head of a disabled person who's like, totally disabled, connected to the computer, and they can use their mind to use the computer. I love that. At the same time, you've got that AI in there in the mind doing what? Learning?
You,
yeah, I have an imagination.
You do have an imagination that does not reflect reality. And by disabled, I think you mean paraplegic, and they can't
Probably,
talk.
Yeah.
You can't just say disabled. There's a lot of things that makes you disabled.
Yeah, they can't talk. They can't move their limbs.
Okay.
Somebody puts them in a wheelchair for them and straps them in, and they feel a freedom they didn't expect to ever have. So,
I don't know how we got from bugs to gods to AI. I don't think we're going to end up worshiping AI. But, by the same token, we watched a show where the whole world was worshiping this AI, and this woman was trying to destroy the AI, and it had something to do with it being like her mom or something.
Well, I'm not too much on worshiping anything, so maybe you. I think you're pretty awesome, but
I appreciate that, but you don't need to go to the level of worship.
Yeah. I love you, Lorianne.
Well, I love you too.
Anyhow,
and I don't worship you either.
I wanted to look at...
I might worship my husband a little, but let's not tell him.
I might do that too, but no, don't tell him. I wanted to see how Rome went from worshiping gods to actually becoming part of the Christian faith. And they had this fella called Mathurus, Mithras, and it was a Roman mystery religion.
It'd be like Mathurius is how I use phonetics on that. But you learned to read from C. Jane Run.
Yes.
So there's that.
So it was a mystery religion.
Okay, did you not realize that Paul was a Roman citizen?
No, I didn't. Boy, there's a eye-opener.
Yeah.
Was he
I really
Jewish
studied my
and
Bible.
became... Well, I did too, and that's not in there.
It totally is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's why he was able to travel freely.
Folks, I will check behind her, and I will let you know if she knows what she's talking about.
Or you can just chime in and tell me that I'm right,
Yeah.
because we all know that I am. Because we still want you to like, subscribe, and comment. But before we end this, I'll let you finish your little thing about Mathurius.
Well, it was supposed to be that he was also someone who really dealt with that eschatological thing of, what end times was going to be like, on Revelations telling you what your end time was going to be like.
I do wonder why we're so obsessed with the end.
Maybe, some people might. See, since I look at the other side and I think, it's going to be all right, it's going to be cool, Aunt Claire and Mom's there.
Well, I've had anxiety since I was at least 14, in which I would go and check to see if you were breathing on a nightly basis, and then that transferred to my husband. It's just, I don't want anyone around me to die, and I have anxiety about that.
I'm so sorry.
I don't worry about me dying, and I'm the one that keeps ending up in the hospital.
I know.
I'm freaking you and my husband out.
Yeah, I agree. So, both the Romans and the Christians believed in an afterlife.
A lot of cultures believe in an afterlife.
Yes, they do. You're right.
There's the ones that believe in an afterlife. There's the ones that believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
None of us wants this to end.
I know, no matter how hard it is.
We love it.
We
We
absolutely
love
love
being
it.
alive.
Yeah.
I hope y'all love being alive.
I know. And if you don't, let us know. We'll fix you.
We'll have a little chat with you.
Yeah.
We'll send you over to Dr. Charles on Chicago Med. It'll be awesome. Okay. I hope you stayed with us. And again, I will just reiterate, feel free to comment, subscribe. I will say we did have a little issue with the commenting for a while there, but we fixed it all up. You should be able to comment.
Yes.
So if you can't comment, come over to our Facebook page and tell us about it.
Please. Yeah. We're just learning
We're
how to
looking
do
for
this.
engagement,
Yeah.
and we'd love to hear your thoughts because it will fuel the future episodes.
Yeah.
We will respond until we get really big, and then we'll only respond to some of you. But for now, we'll respond to all of you, even if you're a troll. All right, thank you guys. I hope you're having a great week, and we will see you again on the flip side.
Yes.
We conquer our fears with dreams in our hearts and the world in our sight. We're big, real skinny, ready for flight.